All right, and welcome to Fangirl Friday, where we basically just talked to, I realized all my friends are entrepreneurs. And so today I am here with Kathleen Johns. Hey, Kathleen.
Hi there. How are you, Jen?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great.
I appreciate you being on this spotlight. And I mean, if people know you and after listening to this, when they start following you on Instagram and Facebook, you are an entrepreneur, and that is so cool. But one of the new venture, I guess it's not new, it's like a renewal adventure that you've been on is these eggs. Tell us more about them.
Yeah, renewal. That's a good
That's
term
what
right
it is,
now.
right?
Renewal for spring and rebirth and Easter and all of
Yeah.
that kind of good vibe. Yeah, so I feel like I'm in a time warp, or how would you say, been there, done that,
Right.
and deja vu and Back to the Future or whatever. But um I quit my marketing job when I was about 8 months pregnant with our first, Elizabeth, and we moved 9 months pregnant from Michigan to Ohio. And within about 6 months, I was presented with this incredible new art called pisanki, and it was Ukrainian eggs, which dates back over 2,000 years. It's a folk art, and it's a batik process, wax relief, wax resistant art. And you work with a tool called a kitska and put little beeswax, and you melt it over the candle flame, and you design on a real
And
egg,
design.
hand design on a real egg.
And
I mean,
that's like, let me stop you here because when I saw these and you told me that you were like, well, you have the note cards now, which I want to talk about, but they started off, I mean, you have the eggs that you do too, and now you made it into note cards, which are beautiful. But I'm
thank
thinking
you.
like, how I know you is you're like a hardcore entrepreneur, just not like a regular one. Like I would say extra, like hardcore and extra. You're like intensely focused. You're very like numbers driven. And I'm looking at this. I was like, is that her? Like she's doing this art, you know?
I get that because I had come from a background of fashion merchandising
Yeah,
originally, and then industrial marketing and
right.
PR. Now I'm
You're
at
a
home with a new
business.
baby.
Yeah.
I have pregnant, new baby, second baby, and I'm at home, and I loved being a stay-at-home mom, but I also wanted to do something else. And when I went over to borrow a cup of sugar from a neighbor where we lived in Muirfield Village in Dublin, Ohio, I saw her sitting at the kitchen table, literally with a pencil and an egg with her daughter. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing?
That's
And she said, well, we've done this every year before Easter, and it's called pisanki. And I had no clue what it was. And it really intrigued me. And, I went home and I happened to have some eggs in the refrigerator.
So they're real eggs,
And so, yeah, I started sketching.
but
And
that's
so,
not a chicken egg.
So this is a goose egg. I decided for purposes of a little bit larger of a scope, but here's the finished product.
Yes.
And it's called the Four Seasons, and it takes the stag and the tree of life through the four seasons. So it starts with the growth, the greenery starting in the spring. Thank God, please come.
Yes,
We're
hurry
in
up.
Wisconsin, please come. And then the fruit bears on the limbs. So that's beautiful going into spring, summer, and then fall, the leaves fall. And in the wintertime, of course, there is snow.
Yes.
So I
So how
have
long did it take you to make that one?
Well, here's the snow one in an ostrich.
Wow.
So I was just showing the different sizes, but a chicken egg, small egg, depending on the intricacy of the design, could take anywhere from 3 hours to maybe 20 hours because there's a lot that goes into working on these eggs. But you know it's a passion. It's wonderful to have the oval shape in your hand, in the palm of your hand. It fits perfectly. And when your babies are sleeping, taking naps, or in the evening, I was able to explore this and have fun with it.
Yeah. They're really pretty. So Tell us about, because when we talked before, I thought it was really cool. So you were at your friend's house, she showed it to you, you got interested, but then somebody had, was it your aunt?
Yeah, so my aunt, she came over one day to see Elizabeth, and I was pregnant with Hillary, and she said, "What are you doing?" And I told her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I literally was only working sketching with a pencil on an egg." And she said, "Honey, don't go buy anything. Don't spend any money. I happen to have like a dozen mason jars with dyes that have been sitting around for a while. I don't know how long. Maybe they're not any good, but I'm going to bring them over, and I've got a book on it, and I've got some tools." And I said, "Oh my gosh, who knew?" Never knew she had tried it.
Right.
And so that was very cool to be able to have everything given to me
Yeah.
outside of the eggs that are in the refrigerator, right? And a pencil. And I just started exploring. And then a neighbor a couple months later came by to give me a baby gift. And she saw a little bowl I had of a few eggs that were finished, and she loved them and wanted to buy some. And that kind of started, the whole entrepreneurial thing of
Course it
like, wait
did.
a minute, somebody wants to buy one of these? What?
And then you got intense about it.
Then I became the egg lady of the universe.
Yes, the egg lady. And then you said at one point QVC came, right?
Yeah, crazy. So, I started doing, and I won't go through the long history of people asking me to do different things, certainly charity functions. And I started with a 6-foot table at a high school, Dublin High School, showing my work in the spring. And then hence a woman, Joanne Stevens, came up to me and said, "Would you demonstrate at Winter Fair in Columbus?" And I said, "Sure." I had no idea what that was. And it was a juried art show that people pay money to make slides to even get accepted, and then pay the entrance fee, and I'm going free to demonstrate. And then TV stations would always pick up. So I started a nice 6-year career of oval art. And every time I'd be on TV, underneath my name, Kathleen Johns, it would say egg lady.
Egg lady.
Not that I
You like
aspired to be
eggs?
that.
Do you eat eggs?
I love eggs.
Okay.
Major protein, babe, that I love, 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 love. But anyway, yeah, no, it was a great ride. I loved all the people that I met, and I never felt worthy to hang out with the other artists that were incredibly talented, because I thought this was, when you do something you don't appreciate,
Oh my God, they're gorgeous.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
and I like how they're not just like, it's not painted Easter eggs, right? Like they are a fine art. That's why you got invited to that show. And even if you're doing one, even if they're like the same design, they're still completely different because you're hand doing every single one.
And the tradition behind the art is ancient. I mean, it's over 2,000 years old. It's a folk art. And when I first became aware of designs and what was out there, and guys, remember, no internet,
Right. That's crazy.
This is 30 years ago. 3 decades ago. And I knew that there was a Ukrainian gift store up in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I literally got on the phone, found their number through, I don't even remember where, and called them. And I was so excited to hear about supplies and what they had and to order from them. And the biggest thing was, it was all about browns and rust and reds and dark colors. And that's not me.
Yeah.
I'm like hashtag sunset chapter, I'm like, bring on the vibrant of life. So I wanted to do the purples and the fuchsia, periwinkle.
Better right too. Show me that orange one you had again. I like that one.
So I have a number of them, but so I did this one for CBS Sunday Morning. They had that aired years ago.
That looks like their son.
And so that was kind of fun to do for them.
Cool.
This one is a traditional one, like a Hutzel geometric. It's just so beautiful. And once you put the polyurethane, it really makes it more durable, even though if I dropped it on this quartz, it would.
That's what I was going to ask you. So it would crack, but it is, I mean, I can see you're not like overly cautious necessarily with putting them down, so they're not just going to like break like an egg. right?
Yeah, I don't know if you can see this, but this is some of my work.
Yeah,
And
these are the note cards. So you you took pictures of the eggs and then you made them into note cards. Are they blank inside?
yeah, they're blank note cards, and there's 4 different photographs of my work. One, I had fun doing quilts
Yeah,
at one point.
nice.
And
I like how it's in the carton.
yeah, it was just kind of fun. My husband did the photography out in the garage.
He's a good I mean, those are really good pictures. It really captures them.
They came out really well, and I'm just thrilled that locally the Cultural Arts Center and also another gift store want to start to carry my note cards, because this is just kind of like you said, a renewal. It's I don't even know.
Resurgent. I don't know. What's
Yeah.
the word? Like, yeah.
So fun.
That's cool. So you do have an Etsy shop where people can buy the actual egg, and then they can buy like the note cards, and I'll put the link in here also.
Thank you.
If anybody wants to do that, because these all the eggs, most of them are from your private collection. Are you producing a lot more right now, or are you just working on your private collection?
Yeah, no, it's just really my personal. I love that private collection. Ooh, private,
It's
private.
fancy.
My personal collection.
Yes.
These are eggs that I
Are they
saved.
signed?
Yeah, they're signed and dated.
Nice.
Yeah. And every one of them is unique, and they're handmade. So they're, it's not manufactured by a machine, whatever. So yeah, I'm excited to share them. I've kept some for myself to give as gifts over the years, but we just moved this past year, and all of a sudden I was thinking, oh my gosh, I know I still have some eggs somewhere. And then my goal was, back when I went into my 60s, which I certainly am now, I was excited to get back into art. So I started taking a watercolor class, and I want to do some other things. And all of a sudden I thought, I need to look at those eggs. And I pulled them out, and some of the artists at the Cultural Center just said, wait a minute, you need to get these out.
Yeah, they're so pretty. And I know when I was like reading about the eggs, I mean, the designs mean something. Like you said, that one is the 4 seasons, which is really cool. What is do you know what the one that's like geometric, like what that means? Or is that just like, okay, what is it?
Yeah. So for instance, when you have triangles, that represents the Holy Trinity.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then red represents passion.
Nice.
And yellow
They were
represents
meant originally for like luck and health and
love, happiness.
yeah.
People, so 40 days of Lent, they would sit at tables, men and women, and design these and put them in baskets at the altar, and then give them as gifts. So this is a really great housewarming gift.
Yeah.
So back in the day when I did art shows, actually your profession loved my eggs, because it was all about a new homeowner.
Yes.
And this would be a great gift to give them, because you're offering this house now happiness, and
like blessing it, sort of.
It's blessing it. Absolutely.
That's so cool. I love them. So I just like a logistics question. So they're real eggs, and they have the polyurethane or whatever on them. But if they're at room temperature, do they ever like go bad?
No, actually, when I'm finished designing and all of the wax has been removed, which is an amazing, magical thing, because all of a sudden all your hard work that the darker wax has covered is now melting off, and you see all this beautiful design and colors coming to life. It's crazy. It's so fun. And so when I teach classes, which I'll do next year, like within 3 hours, somebody has one, and they're looking at it. Oh my gosh, I did that, And after that's finished, then I take an old fashioned, it's called Aunt Marge's egg blower.
Okay.
And it's like a bulb aspirator that you tip at the top of the egg, you pierce a hole, and then you take this little thing and stir in the inside to break the yolk.
Okay.
And then it's an aspirator that pushes through with the other hole that you've made down at the bottom. And so all of the contents hollowed out. And then sterilized, completely sterilized.
Okay.
And then a lacquer finish. So
That's so gorgeous. Will you show me the Four Seasons one again? I like that one a lot.
Absolutely. In fact, I'll just do the ostrich because that's kind of a bigger scene.
Yeah.
So again, this is the one that's offered right now on Etsy because this was my all-time favorite.
I love it.
And I love, I think you should have a little bit of black in every room.
Yeah.
I think it's handsome. But anyway, taking the stag and the tree of life, it's about the tree of knowledge and wealth and wisdom, and taking it through the four seasons. So really nice colors.
Cool. Yeah, you can see the flowers and stuff on it now.
Yeah. So it just
Awesome.
really, this one sits in our hutch in our family, no, in our living room. But I was going to swap camera real quick if you can see this, but this is my personal collection that I have.
Nice.
In a cabinet in the dining room.
So as some sell, you'll be releasing some more.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that's that. And now you get to see my kitchen, and there we are.
Nice. I like them in the bowl. That's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just, you can design, and I have like little brass stands, and actually in the cherry cabinet, I was collecting little salt dips, little salt cellars. And I think that shows a little crystal and glass.
Yeah,
those look lovely.
Yeah.
And then each egg comes with a gift box, emerald green gold stamped gift box as well with gold tissue.
Nice. That's lovely. So the prices of the eggs, I imagine, are based on like the amount of time it took to do them. So what's the longest amount of time it took you to do one? Do you know?
You know, it's so fun because all these questions I was asked years ago, one of the first questions was like, are these real? And then the next question was, how long does it take?
Right.
The Four Seasons would take anywhere from 4 to 5 hours from start to finish when I became really proficient.
Okay.
And then of course you have your room for error with, them blowing up on you after you've finished them. But the goose eggs take longer, more expanse, area to cover. And again, this is all done with beeswax that's melted. And so if you look at a goose egg and you look at the stag, the deer, where it's white for them, that had to be all designed freehand with melted beeswax so it would resist the dye. Right.
Makes
so you're going from white and then you go light to darker to darker to darker. So, you would incorporate the next shade. So once you finish that, so an ostrich egg would take about 20 hours, maybe something like that.
Crazy.
Yeah. So the note cards right now are listed, I think, a dozen for $20. And that's a really good deal because they come with beautiful envelopes. That's less than $1.50 a piece, and it's free shipping.
Nice. Hey.
So I've got that going, and then the Four Seasons
for Easter too.
I know. Well, Easter, somebody called me the other day and ordered a few dozen, and she said these are going to be great hostess gifts.
Yeah.
Mother's Day.
I mean, they're just beautiful, and they are art. And so like it's only Easter because I'm thinking like because it is Easter, right? But like they certainly could work for anything, I mean, it's art.
I sold these year-round at art shows all through the year. I did summer art shows, fall art shows, and there's a lot of collectors out there that I had no idea when I just fell in love with the art and just did it for myself. I didn't know people collected it, but the Four Seasons egg, what's that?
You're famous.
Oh, stop. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. I did a lot of art shows around the country, and the galleries used to carry the work, and it was a fabulous chapter. And it's kind of fun to touch it again a little bit as I explore other art and all the other things that are going on, like taking care of a grandson.
That you what? Oh, what?
I said all the other things like taking care of a grandson.
Yeah, I know. I see his pictures on Instagram. What a cutie. Do you have like a certain type of egg that you like to work with best?
There's not one alike. I mean, you can do the jokes of eggs, like people would say, do they come by the dozen? And, don't fill all your eggs in one basket and all that stuff. But not really. I mean, I had some designs, like the Four Seasons is definitely my favorite design. I like the meaning behind it. I like the combination of the design of, the bands, the
Right.
band sides.
Yeah.
But, then I would go off and do something else. I'd have orders from galleries and I'd be bored and I didn't want to do what I'm supposed to do.
Right. I can
So
see
then
that.
I'd go off and create a rose.
Oh, I like that. That one's really pretty.
So you just go and do your own thing. I did christening eggs and Christmas ornament eggs, and I have 2 in the White House permanent collection, and
Oh,
just
cool.
like one of stained glass, and so just kind of fun stuff. But I wanted to swing back real quick because I don't think I answered your question on the 4 seasons with Etsy. The 4 seasons sold for $75, $85 25 years ago.
Wow.
I put it at $65 because I have a limited supply of them and I just want to share them. So $65, and that includes the shipping, all that stuff. So
that's amazing. Those are great prices.
thank
That's
you.
so cool. Well, I love what you're doing. Again, we'll put the link up for people to buy them, and then they can, if they do want to get a hold of you though, what is the best way to do that?
Yeah, I would say I have an email address
Okay.
that they can get a hold of me.
Okay.
And it is Oval Art 91, because that's the year that I started it.
91.
Oval Art 91 at gmail.com.
1991 doesn't seem that long ago, but when you do the math, it was quite a long time ago.
Well, I'm going to say it was 3 decades ago.
Right, it was.
If I'm doing my math right? I don't know.
You're absolutely right. It was 3 decades ago. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. They're really, really beautiful.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
It is fun. All right. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye, Jen.